There's a misconception surrounding the anxiety condition, and most of us are quite relieved when we realize the truth. It's often assumed that anyone struggling with anxiety must have specific personality traits, which is true, but we often believe these traits describe someone weak, shy, or withdrawn. Nothing could be further from the truth. In fact, the majority of people who struggle with anxiety are outgoing people, social people, and those who participate in many events. These are people who generally participated in all phases of life before anxiety struck. The only difference is these are the overachievers. These are the people who overextend themselves, the ones who are there for everyone and sometimes overlook themselves. The result is you wind up pleasing everyone but yourself. And this doesn't always feel good. You find yourself giving all your energy away to everyone else with very little left for yourself. Yes, people pleasing can become very emotionally expensive. One believes they're loved by everyone, and yet they lose themselves along the way. Self-esteem and self-confidence takes a nosedive. And this is why it's so important to be aware of the traits that accompany many who struggle with the anxiety condition. Knowledge is power, and once you're aware of this, you can work with your attributes and counter the traits that have been detrimental in your life. The similarities which connect those with anxiety are quite surprising once you take a closer look at the ties which connect millions who come up upon this condition. First of all, you're dealing with individuals who possess above average intelligence. They are the cream of the crop and rank extremely high in this category. Diligent students, curious as children, talented, and able to process information expediently. The truth of the matter is intelligent people notice and question more than others. They pick up on facts and information that others may overlook. They take information down to its bare essence, dissecting it for facts. This is certainly a positive attribute, but often lends itself well to the anxiety condition. Intelligent people are more tuned in to outside and internal stimuli. They are natural assessors. They examine and evaluate where others might overlook or take for granted. This is a wonderful attribute, especially if you're in the scientific field, but it might trip you up if you struggle with anxiety reactions. This part of your personality might keep you on guard and perpetuate your checking in skills. This is why it's essential to be aware of these habits. Being aware of these traits will enable you to recognize them as they happen and compensate for them as well. Instead of wasting time dissecting symptoms or situations when they surface, you have the power to shift your focus, detach, and move on to something more enlightening. You have the choice to change habits and recreate better ways of thinking, reacting, and living. It's interesting to note that you are also creative in more ways than one. I like to refer to this nature as the artist's personality. Creativity allows you to view the beauty in life, to hear the high notes and touch upon your insights. Sensitivity makes you a loyal friend, determined worker, and a person who takes pride in his or her accomplishments. Yes, you are an approval seeker, but this often spurs you on, and as long as you save some for yourself, you are not crossing the line and giving it all away. You are also able to connect with your intuitive side, which enables you to feel more, share more, and actually lose yourself in a project. Your reactions are stronger because you invest more of yourself in whatever you do. This is a type of person anyone would be thrilled to hire to work for them. This is a person you would be glad to have as your closest friend. This is someone you can trust implicitly. People who generally struggle with the anxiety condition are the good guys. The problem is they sometimes give too much of it away and leave very little for themselves. Your sensitivity and intuition are wonderfully positive traits in work and loving relationships as well. Unfortunately, when sensitized, you become reactive to stimuli such as lights, medications, caffeine, crowds, noise, and this is due to prolonged stress and the reaction it has on your body. And so the wonderful attribute of sensitivity sometimes will work against you if you're not careful. This attribute of sensitivity might actually heighten your reactions to outside stimuli. But knowing this is half the battle. Once you understand something, it never takes you by surprise again. Therefore, where a sound or scent might generally be enhanced to someone else, it might be overwhelming or overbearing to you. Knowing this gives you the upper hand. Once you understand this is your nature, you'll no longer overreact. This heightened sense towards stimuli will also diminish greatly as you learn to compensate through coping skills and diet. Eventually, it will shrink down to manageable size. Another personality trait is your perfection-seeking nature. Like many others, you aim for 100% and rarely settle for less. This is a wonderful attribute as well, which makes you the number one candidate for whatever career you so choose. What better qualifications could an employer ask for? Hire you and the job will get done. In fact, it will probably be much more than they ask for, because this is the type of person you are. Loyalty and the desire to please. Yet sometimes at all costs. It's commendable to aim for perfection, but it can be a stress and a burden. Moderation in everything may help you tone down this strong desire to please. It's time to allow yourself to be human. All human beings make mistakes, and you're no different. All human beings are not perfect, and neither are you. And it's unrealistic to think otherwise. In fact, it's difficult to be with a perfect person, as we all know. Strive for quality, but allow yourself some slack as you do the best you can, but also know when to fold them. We all possess a finite amount of energy. Choose how you expend yours without exhausting your mind and body. You know, it really is okay to do a good job and not a perfect job. Give yourself permission to make mistakes, to be less than perfect, to be human again. You'll be glad you did. Another trait in its personality profile is that you have extremely high morals and extend yourself to others. This, too, is to be applauded, but watch how far you take it. Anger is an expensive emotion as well, especially for those prone to anxiety. It's wonderful to reach out to others, to be there when they need you, but sometimes you may spread yourself too thin, as I said before, and you have little energy left for yourself. And this leads to low serotonin levels too, exhaustion, and feelings of self-hatred. So be careful. This is where resentment and anger rear their ugly heads. Your personality classifies you as one of the good guys. And it's great to be the good guy, a giver, and a tireless supporter. But it's also good to be there for yourself. Always leave time to take care of yourself. Self-nurturing is essential for good health. I make sure I take a break every afternoon, sit down, go over my day, see where I need to slow down, what I have to do, and this gives me a break, a time out, a few moments of relaxation in a very busy day. Don't you owe this to yourself as well? It only takes a few moments to pull it all together. And believe me, it's well worth it. I truly find it can make or break your day. It proves that you have the power to turn your day around and make it whatever you want it to be. It's also important to set boundaries to protect yourself and yet remain the good, kind person your personality defines. Others are not mind readers, and so it's your responsibility to inform them of your limits. This can be done respectfully yet firmly. You set a precedent in all relationships. You teach others how you expect to be treated. If you're not garnering respect, you might want to investigate the signals you're giving out yourself and what the payoff might be for this. There's always a payoff for any continued behavior, good or bad. Are you allowing others to walk all over you? If so, it's because you are giving these signals. You're telling them in some way that this is okay, that this will be tolerated. It might be time to change the signals you're giving out and allow people to read you loud and clear. It's always up to you. Being aware of these personality traits are one thing, but working with them is another. There's always room for change, compromise, and compensation for the traits that might not be working for you. Another personality trait that we find is that your particular personality is one that is non-confrontational. In fact, confrontation puts you off so greatly that you will often go to great lengths to avoid any confrontations. This is easily remedied when you learn to state your problem or issue, listen to the other person's point of view, and without allowing emotion to muddy the waters, come to a compromise which is easy to live with for both parties. Your brain is so uncomfortable with confrontation, it often creates diversions which will distract you just as you become very close to a confrontation. You may notice a symptom, a twinge, a health issue, just as you're nearing confronting an important issue. And this works, believe it or not. A fearful symptom serves to fill your entire mind, leaving no room for confrontation, issues, or anything else. Be aware of this tactic that the brain pulls. The brain will try to trick you and steer you away from confrontation because of the discomfort it often produces. Once you overcome this, confrontations become easier and the brain, retrained, becomes less resistant to this new behavior. And once again, knowledge is power. You also place a high value on control. Being in control, you believe, supplies you with a sense of safety. It is essential to maintain control in one's life, but there are times you might want to step back and let go. This is the time to trust others and allow them to help out. Learn to delegate. Select those who are trustworthy and give them the opportunity to help. Anyone who has had difficulties in their lives understands how happy friends are to help. This is a two-way street. Not only you benefit, but the one extending his or herself to you receives a positive gift by doing so. You're graciously allowing another person to share of themselves, and this is an uplifting experience for them as well. And it's up to you to allow them to experience this. Also, you might possess a highly reactive personality, but this isn't always a negative trait. For instance, you or I would probably be the first ones to jump out of the way if a piano were to fall from the sky. But seriously, we would be one of the first to react in an emergency situation. So don't be so hard on yourself when reviewing these personality traits. Many of them are qualities that are positive and actually above and beyond what others have or wish they could have. Being reactive isn't always bad. Along with being a caring individual, there is a strong side of you that goes under the heading of approval seeker. Yes, it does matter to you what others may think, and you do want to be accepted and loved. There's nothing wrong with this aim to please, but be cautious about how far you take it. There comes a time in life when you're trading off your own best interests, especially when you cross the line into serious approval seeking. And as we said before, this is known as the people-pleasing disease. Okay, even if we kid about this, it can still become a great interference in your life. For instance, if you cannot make a decision without the opinion of certain people, you might want to detach a bit and risk making future decisions on your own. Start small, but do it. Feel the power when you do this yourself. Realize it's a choice and everything is not written in stone. Life becomes simpler when you take the pressure off. Learn to love yourself and base your decisions on your own intellect. It's fine to ask and trust friends' opinions, but it's even better to know and trust your own opinion. Once you begin doing so, you will never turn back. Those with this personality thrive on familiarity. Routine spells out safety and is often difficult to deviate from, but make the effort. Take a different route the next time you're out driving. Change your schedule in small ways. Visit new places. Reach out to new and exciting people. Change makes life interesting and prevents future bouts of intrusive anxiety. Remember, boredom is fertile ground for anxiety-related behaviors. Lighten up on yourself. Those with anxiety are often their own worst judge and will surely slide a break to a friend before themselves. Release the rules you make for yourself and live in the moment. When those you love must travel or you find yourself alone, use this as an opportunity to make decisions on your own. Do things you might have overlooked before. Or be adventurous and try something new. Rent that video you've been wanting to see. Join a dance or music class you've always longed for. Experiment with a new hairstyle. Or visit new people you've been wanting to know better. Or make that decision at work. Open up your horizons and allow yourself to become whole. Let go of the common and same old style routine. Take a risk and order something different this time when you look at the menu. Speak up at your next business meeting. Stop being invisible. Be heard, speak up, and speak out. You are intelligent and you have something to say. Make yourself heard. Become alert to your body and its signals. If you're tired, slow down and rest. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone. Be real, be genuine, and tell the truth, especially to yourself. And view the signals of anxiety as a guide which will help you look at your life and see what's working and what needs to be worked on. Use these signals to work for you and to lead you to the source of your discomfort. And if you feel you're being victimized in life, realize it's okay to be dependable, but it's also all right to say, no, I'm tired, or I'm busy, or I just don't feel like it today. You always have a choice in your decision making. You'll notice how quickly your negative reactions and behaviors begin to dissolve when you begin living your life using your personality traits in a positive way, rather than allowing them to steer you into negative thoughts and behaviors. Understanding who you are and what you're about is the first step. Embracing yourself and doing the best with who you are is key. We will always maintain the basic personality traits as mentioned, but you have the ability to use these traits in a positive way and improve your life as you do so. Being aware is your means of using these traits in the best way possible. Be proud of who you are and never doubt yourself. There is only one you and you are given one life. Self-acceptance ensures you a better decision-making, stronger control, and a life where challenges are doable. There is a whole world out there waiting for you, and you have the ability to do and be whatever you wish. Take the opportunity to acknowledge and accept yourself as each day becomes an enjoyable experience based on your self-assurance, self-confidence, self-respect, and self-love. Have a wonderful week.